people some time to log on. So, let's push us back just a little bit so we look a little better. Do you
Thank
like
you.
that better? We like
Yeah.
that a little less
Yeah.
of
I
us.
don't like when it's all like right up in my
Well, I'm going
face.
to tell you a story about I got pretty today because I know who I'm hanging out with. I know I'm hanging out with the beautiful, talented, brilliant Rachel Lee. So I was like, I
Stop.
got to at least curl my hair because I can't show up here looking less than with this kind of amazing
Thank
talent,
you.
brains, and beauty with the amazing Rachel Lee. So we've got people logging in where it's cool. We hang out here on Facebook and we hang out here on YouTube Live. And all of the best cat owners in the world are tuning in first thing this morning, depending on where you're at, to talk about clicker
Right.
training. And I think that's just the coolest thing. I'm excited.
I know, me too. I love clicker training. It actually worked out kind of perfectly. My dog had I took him to my grandmother's yesterday. Anyways, I had my cat at home and I was doing in-home or telemedicine with my clients, and I have a video of me doing it, and it was funny because I didn't have a dog to demo how to muzzle train. So I
Yeah.
just used my cat. It was fantastic. I was like, "Oh, look at see," and my clients are all like, "You can really clicker train your cat?" I'm like, "Yeah, like have
Yes.
fun." And my cat was getting it. It was great because he's never done it before, so it was funny to watch.
It's really neat to watch it the first time, right? When you get to see people, like to
Mhm.
people, well, you get to see the animals just totally catch on and blow
Right,
people's mind with it because people don't even realize, I think, number one, first and foremost, how trainable cats are.
right. Oh, I agree. Cats are super trainable and they actually love to work. They love it. You just have to make your training sessions short enough. Like I have some videos that are going to be in the lecture and I was listening to one and I'm like, oh, I kind of disagree how long your training session should be. But like if you do 2 to 3 minutes, and I mean, again, these cats, they enjoy it. And some of them, if they're food motivated and stuff, they really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, when I did our little snippet the other day, because to be fair, I've clicker trained a gajillion dogs, and um, I haven't. I've target trained a little bit with kitties, but I don't. My cats are allowed to run wild, and they don't have to have any manners. I don't know, so
Right.
I've never clicker trained them. But I was doing it for the video the other day, and my cat is so food motivated. He was like, "Whatever you want, I will do it." But being a clicker training family, I have to say, like, they'll be sitting out on the table, and someone will go to reach for it and be like, "What is this?" And you're like, "No," because if that clicks,
You're right.
you got to get the treats, right?
Right. Or else you'll see me use it, but I use a tongue click. So I'll do
Yeah, yeah,
and again, my cat just looked at me.
yes.
But yes, I will make that sound. And it's not often that you hear that sound, but I laugh because I am a Disney person, I guess. And anyways, in the Frozen soundtrack, they do make, and you want to build a snowman, they go, and I do that, and then my animals look at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm
It's
sorry,
treat
I
time. Oh my
forgot."
gosh, that's so I use a marker word. I tend to be a yes person, not even meaning to be. It comes right out.
Yeah,
So I know in this video you'll talk a little bit about the difference between marker words, and the clicks and the ticks and the snaps and the everything. So I'm gonna get my face out of here because frankly, we are here to watch you. We're here to learn from you, the expert, the
great.
amazing. I want to tell you guys, first of all, Miss Rachel Lees has been a friend of mine for years now. I guess we go back, probably 4 or 5 years now. I don't
Yeah,
even, maybe
I would think
10
so.
because it's COVID life, who knows?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and she is a brilliant veterinary technician in the industry. And you guys know I'm a veterinary technician, so I'm always promoting my kind. But she took it a step further and she's actually a veterinary technician specialist. And so, for my guys here that don't know what that is, it's someone who's gone above and beyond in their education and their testing, done a ton of times done just so much work, and then tested, and then has to do continuing education strictly in behavior. So she's the woman. She is here to talk about clicker training. We're going to learn so much from her. So, Miss Rachel, you go ahead and share your screen. We'll get you all set
Perfect.
up here, and you will go for launching. You guys in the comment section, just holler at me, send your comments, send your questions. We'll get them in front of Rachel
All right.
here at the end.
Oops. All right, here we go. Doom.
All right,
Perfect.
I'm going to add that to the screen. Let you get in presentation mode, and I'm getting out.
Awesome. All right. Well, great. Thank you guys for joining us today. I am super excited about this lecture. I think, as Becky mentioned earlier, clicker training cats is fantastic. I really truly feel that cats love to clicker train just as much as dogs do. And it's super fun to watch them learn, to watch them understand it, and to watch almost like not that I'm saying it's like a fun trick to show your family and friends, but when people see you train your cat, they're like, oh my gosh, you could really do that. And it's super awesome. I always love seeing it. So I'm a huge advocate for clicker training regardless. Becky or Coach Becky mentioned that I am a veterinary technician specialist, but I am also a Karen Pryor certified training partner, which also means that I had to pass a specific test and do all of these very specific things in order to be a certified clicker trainer. So I have a little bit of background with clicker training, so I obviously really enjoy it. You also may see my cat, and I figure it's totally fitting. You guys wouldn't mind. My cat, Ernie, he likes to jump on my lap and try to be part of the lectures. So please forgive him. Hi, Oid. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to jump in and get started because I can't wait. So again, question. Everybody goes, clicker training a cat? Are you sure we could do this? So this is a really awesome video I wanted to share, and it's showing how, again, exotic animals, which in zoo medicine, they use a large amount of training and cooperative care in every animal, but especially these big cats. So I always think it's awesome to see kind of the full process of how it looks at the end. So this is a really fun video of watching one of the handlers or the zookeeper's technician, I don't know who it is, but they're obtaining lab work from a cat's tail vein, or a tiger tail vein. So I'm going to be quiet and let you guys watch this real quick. So again, a really short video, but also with my profession and what I do for a living, I find cooperative care to be beyond important, whether it's a dog or a cat, but also going and taking your cat and getting them into the veterinary hospital is beyond important. And to me, that's something that, again, we need to be able to see our cat. So, because I always say, like, my cat went in yesterday, I say, you know, he's going to live forever. So I need to make sure he's as healthy as possible. So I am sure all of you guys feel exactly the same way. With that being said, cooperative care is super important, and I want my cat to enjoy going to the veterinary hospital. So again, these are things that we can also relate to domestic cats as well, and our household kitties. But I always think that that's super amazing to watch these big cats learn and be able to have, you know, learn how to lie down and then have their tails touched and be able to have blood drawn without a problem. It's really awesome. Oops. All right. So our next one, again, so people will go, I always hear, well, that's an exotic cat. They have to do that. You know, what about a household cat? Can they train too? I won't leave this entire video on, but this is super cute. This gentleman trained his cat here. The cat's adorable. But trained the cat to do some really awesome behaviors, and you're just seeing him cue the behaviors. So I'm just, again, going to leave this on for a few minutes, and then I'll take it off momentarily. But it's really awesome. It made me laugh as I'm watching all these cues. So enjoy. Circus cat. Roll over. Touch.
Stick 'em up. Service. Roll over. Prayers.
It's adorable. I just can't. So like I said, I mean, that video is adorable. There's so many really cool behaviors. And I love that they say prayers in both of the dog and the cat, or yeah, they kind of bow down. That's adorable. I just love it. So again, as I mentioned, whoops, I think I moved a little fast. It's all right. So what is clicker training? And again, we're going to go through and do a lot of question answer. So my plan is I want to kind of give you guys the basics, just like I would to any client that I see, again, whether dog or cat, but I want to run through exactly what is clicker training and kind of give you the basics of it. So in that way we know how as I'm explaining things and you're watching some of these videos moving forward, you know exactly what we're doing. So what is clicker training? So I think of it as a form of positive reinforcement. So I will show you a video of positive reinforcement being used on a human. If any of you are Big Bang Theory fans, you I'm sure may know this episode, but it's hysterical. I always enjoy it and I always like to share it. But with that being said, positive reinforcement is where we're adding something to the situation or to the learning situation to increase the likelihood of a behavior. So again, what we're doing is we're essentially like with the first video with the tiger, they added food to increase the likelihood, maybe in a separate situation, of asking the tiger to lie down. So again, that's kind of what you're looking for and what we're doing with that. With the clicker becomes a form of communication, in my opinion, and how I explain it. And the way I think of that communication is that we use, again, fancy term, classical conditioning, in which the animal learns that every time they hear that click sound, so that food follows. So if we go back, those of you who have maybe college experience, anything, a lot of, I think most people do know the Pavlov experience where, you know, he was a scientist that rang the bell and he would feed the dog food. And after a while, the dog would hear the bell ring and would just start salivating because he knew food was coming. So that's kind of the same thing with using the clicker. I want that click sound to mean that something awesome is going to happen. So number one, it creates a positive outcome, a very excited response. But also with that, we're able to reinforce very, very specific behavior. And when we're doing that, I call the clicker a conditioned reinforcer. Again, more your fancy term. Another way to think about it is a bridge. So like if you're thinking of a drawbridge from a castle to, you know, I'm thinking Game of Thrones, from a castle to the, I don't know, field, whatever. They come, and so the goal would be is that if you reinforce the behavior over here, you're able to use the click to then go, it buys you a little bit of time. So again, if you're thinking while the drawbridge comes down, you can then reinforce the behavior a little bit thereafter, where again, it makes it much more specific for the learner and it makes them be able to understand things much more clearly. If you think of it in a different situation, I think of it as puppies potty training. So even if, you know, you've never been around a dog, I'm sure most, you know, when you clicker or potty train a puppy, you're taking the dog outside and you usually give it a treat when they go outside. So without using a clicker, the puppy goes outside, eliminates, and maybe you're standing next to it, maybe you're not. But then, you know, the puppy goes potty, maybe sniffs a few leaves, comes over to you for the treat. What is the puppy being reinforced for? Was it sniffing the leaves? Was it, you know, running around and chasing its tail real quick before it made it over to you? What was that reinforcement for? So it makes it, without the clicker, it makes it a lot less specific. So that's why I like that clicker, because in that scenario, the last drop of urine or the last drop of stool, you would click so the dog learns, oh, pottying out here makes food happen. And then it makes it really, really specific. So in our order of operations, as we're working through this, our goal is to kind of, and the way I think about it is that you're going to observe behavior. So as you're observing in your training sessions, your goal is to be patient. This is a very different form of training, and what we're doing is we're waiting for our pet to offer behavior. So with that being said, once they offer the behavior you're looking for, you'll then use the marker. So you'll click. Then you'll go ahead after the click is done, within a second or two, you're going to reach, grab a treat, and reinforce them. So we'll go through those very specific parts. So then that way, again, you guys kind of understand where we're headed. Also, when I look at and think about clicker training, I always think there's two forms. You have capturing a behavior and shaping. So we're going to dive in more as we move forward in the lecture. But again, to give you a nice little example of positive reinforcement, I have, Penny and Sheldon demonstrating it beautifully here. So again, just a few minutes, and then we'll be right back to go into capturing and shaping.
Are you finished?
Well, thank you. How thoughtful. Would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon. I almost sat in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate.
Thank you.
You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry. Zip.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh, hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to replace you at work.
Okay. I know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't want
I love that video. It's so funny. I love that show. It's hysterical. But again, so if in that, looking in that situation, I was actually trying to break apart and think about okay, what's our marker? And unfortunately, like I said, Sheldon didn't use a marker. Penny gets it. And I mean, again, as a human, we should make these and connect the dots much quicker. Unfortunately with animals, they can't connect those dots as quickly as we can. And again, they need, for their learning, they need to be able to have the marker present and then reinforcement within 1 to 2 seconds after, in order for them to even understand why they're being reinforced for something. So again, with humans, obviously we can delay the reinforcement a tiny bit, but in animals, we need to be much quicker about it. So capturing a behavior. What capturing a behavior is when you're reinforcing a behavior that happens in real time. So, and it's also, I think of it as the learner offering the behavior on their own. So say, for example, Coach Beckie is, I'm sitting here talking to her on our, webinar program, and I start talking, and maybe she thinks I'm talking too much. I'm famous for that. But so say, for example, I stop talking. What she could do is the moment that I close my mouth, she could click, and then, I don't know, she can't really give me a treat right now because we're over the internet. But maybe then, if we were present and together in the same room, she would click and give me a treat. And I might go, huh. So maybe I still continue to talk, but then, if I go to take a breath, or maybe I just don't talk for a second, click, and food happens again, I'm going to go, wow, maybe she wants me to be quiet. I might put those dots together much quicker. But that's kind of what capturing a behavior is it's happening in that real time. So with cats especially, I wanted to use this specific video. Laura Monaco Torelli is a wonderful colleague, and she's an animal behavior consultant in the Chicago area. She's wonderful, and she does a lot of work. She has her dog Santino, and I know she has a newer puppy. Anyways, her Facebook is awesome. So if you're ever looking for anybody fun to follow with fun training stuff, she's one of them. But also, one thing that I really enjoy is that she talks a lot about reinforcing behavior that, again, the animal's offering, but it may not look like it's anything. So, for example, if you have a cat who's jumping on the counters and say you really don't want that behavior, in reality, we could capture the behavior if the cat makes the choice to jump off of the counter, which is great. But if we think about it, the cat has to jump onto the counter to get off of the counter every single time. So we may actually be inadvertently reinforcing jumping up on the counter. So how I think of that is, like, say the cat walked up to the counter, thought about it, but didn't make the choice to jump up. I would be capturing that behavior. And that's where I want us to think about things, because with clicker training, I want you to be mindful. I want you to think about what your animal's doing right instead of thinking about what your animal's doing wrong. So again, I'm going to find my spot here because I made sure I made a note about where it was, because I like how she talks about this. So again, this is just an example. She's doing capturing with her dog. But again, I wanted to show you guys an example of what that looks like.
Is a common training technique that we use when working with exotic animals. And what capturing behavior is we notice what the animal offers naturally all on their own, and we reinforce it. Good. So right now, Santino's offering me everything. He's offering all four on the floor, stationing, which is standing in front of me, and attention to handler. So I have three wonderful behaviors that he's offering as a great success point. I'm going to toss a couple treats off the compass here. So usually dog owners will say, well, what are you giving the dog treats for? He's not doing anything. He's doing everything right now. He's offering so many small success points of reinforceable behavior. So capturing is noticing what your human or animal learner offers on their own, such as him stationing in front of me and looking up at me. So we're feeding two birds with one seed, so to speak. And we keep a high rate of reinforcement, which means practice this with some of their treats or your dog food if you're working with a dog before their breakfast or dinner. Training is best served short and sweet when you're working on some foundation behaviors as well.
So again, I love Laura. She's really a fantastic human. She's wonderful. Watching her train with her pets is also just, her voice just is calming. She warms my soul. I just love her. So like I said, and she does have some cat stuff that she uses. I believe she has, her one cat's name, I think she had a video, is like Thumbelina or something cute. She's got a bunch, and she does do some cat training. So like I said, really, if you're looking for somebody fun to follow, I would encourage you to definitely give her a like. But again, I like how she talks about that. It really is thinking about the behavior your animal's doing correctly. And again, capturing it in real time as it's happening. So again, with the cat, whether you're wanting to teach them in a training session to line up and station in front of you, or even just thinking about the example I gave previously about the cat jumping up on the counter. Again, reinforce the behavior before they do it, or when they're making the right choice before they decide to make the poor choice, if that makes sense. So, oops, I know I just get click happy. So this is again, I wanted to give you some action. I wanted to give you some examples of cats kind of being captured to do specific behavior. So this first one I'm going to show you is a Jackson Galaxy video. And again, Jackson Galaxy is great. But the one thing is that if I'm going to fast forward a little bit through it, but he does a great job of explaining clicker training. He's doing a little bit of luring. And again, I'm using it because he's luring, but again, he's actually capturing the behavior as it's happening. So again, it's a little bit different from how I'm going to try to show you guys on how to clicker train. But But like I said, it's a good video. So I'm going to show you that first.
If you could teach your cat a trick, what would that trick be?
Spinning around in circles.
That's easy breezy. We could do that. Now you've got some kitten food here. Lovely. Okay. First, all we're going to do is make it so this sound means I get food. Click. The scientific term for clicker training is actually operant conditioning. It's like, wait, food. Let's see if she'll do this.
So I just fast forwarded to the part where he's actually doing it.
She makes this circle.
Click and then treat.
That's it. That's all you got to do. If you do this.
So again, real short and sweet, but that is exactly what he's doing again. So in that situation, he's using the treat to lure the kitten to turn around. But again, once the kitten offers the behavior, he's then capturing it and then going ahead and giving the reinforcer or the treat. And again, when I think of capturing, sometimes I think of capturing a picture. So again, if it's something I really want to reinforce, I think of it like, oh, I would want to capture that like I'm capturing a picture or something that's happening that I really enjoy. So again, just another way to think about things. Now this video cracked me up. I really enjoyed it. Number one, the cat's adorable, and just I don't know what the purpose of the video was essentially, but so say for example, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it and I'm going to say, you know, this is where you would click. So say you wanted to encourage, and most cat owners, I would think you don't want to, because cats do this all the time, knocking things off of counters. So, but say you did, say you wanted to teach your cat to knock something very specific off of a countertop. So maybe it's, you know, a glass. I think this is a little shot glass. I don't know. But this cat is just offering this behavior, I'm assuming, and the owner's is again just watching it. But again, I'm going to click the times that I would click to capture and reinforce the behavior of knocking or touching the glass. Oops, let me see.
No, 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 no,
I'm sorry. That just makes me laugh so hard. But again, and if you notice, I clicked a few times a tiny bit early, and I'm going to go through what I was actually doing a little bit, because that is what we call shaping. So shaping a behavior is where we use, so that again, we have capturing, then we have shaping. So there is capturing within shaping. And that's why, again, I didn't actually, you know, plan to do it that I just did, but kind of is a nice little tie-in. So you could see I was capturing behavior the animal was offering. But if you watched that cat, you know, decided to go to the remote, and I didn't click that because in my goal behavior was to touch and knock the shot glass off of the counter. So again, looking at that, so I didn't click for the remote, but because the cat started to do something different and go towards the remote, again, when the cat stopped and looked back towards the glass, I clicked that. So again, that's kind of where I was trying to shape him, to tell him and almost give him a hint like, no, this is what I want. So again, that's why I think of it as step-by-step approximation that leads to the goal behavior. So I always think of it obviously as well, the more communication, the better. So that's also what I was doing in that, if I was breaking down that last video a little bit more, is again, when the cat looked at the shot glass, I would give it a treat. Then maybe if it came up and nose touched it or like kind of nudged it, I would click, give it a treat. Then maybe it moves its paw near it, I would click, give it a treat. And then if it actually moved it, I would click, give it a treat. But in all those times, I was able to reinforce a lot of behavior, which is helpful for the learner. Because in this situation, I think of this as a game of hot or cold. Hot means you hear the click and you're on the right track. And then cold means you hear nothing. So again, if it was again, say Coach Beckie and I are doing training and she's trying to tell me to, I don't know, pick up, I have clicker training for cats, but you know, say she wanted me to pick up this book and I have it sitting, there's nothing you guys can see because my camera's up too high. Or let's say she wants me to raise my right hand and that's what she wanted me to teach her, or that's what she's trying to communicate to me. So again, if I'm moving my hands around, she might click me for that at first. And I might go, huh, maybe I'm just moving my hand. Maybe I move my left hand up. No click. But then maybe I move my right hand a little bit higher. She clicks that. I'm going to go, huh. Maybe I do this one again to test it out. And then I do this again. She'd click me. So then I might offer this again and offer it until she gets until I got the behavior. So again, that's kind of what you're looking for. So this video I thought was really cool. I again haven't been on YouTube in a while to look for this stuff. So I really liked this guy's video. He had some cute little orange tabby that he's training. But he's showing and demonstrating how the cat can like almost station on a little square piece of, I think it's carpeting or something.
Will you just turn the volume up on that a little, Rachel? Sorry. The last ones have been a little bit low. It would be a big help for everybody.
Okay. Of the videos?
Yeah.
I can't get them any louder.
Can you turn up the volume on your computer?
I'm going to do that. Here, let me escape for a second.
For that. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I want everybody to obviously hear.
You want to hear that? Yeah.
What am I doing? All right. Let me see. Can I turn this up louder? Yeah, no, see, it's as loud as I can.
All right, guys, that's as loud as it gets. So you got to crank up your stereo. Oh, on YouTube itself, she's saying, yeah, but I think it's up all the way on YouTube as well. Double check. But I saw you double check that on the video. But
yeah, I did.
Okay, I think that's as loud as we can get it. Double check your guys. Maybe just a tiny bit more. Look like you could do maybe a tiny bit more.
Well, right, that was a different video. But yes, hold on. Let me go to this one again. Of course, of course. All right, so let me try it again. So from current slide. Okay. Let me, oops. Oh my Lord. No, see, so that's muted. Yeah, guys, that's as high as I can make it. I hope you guys can hear. I'm going to try and click over this guy too anyway. So again, not that I'm saying what he is saying isn't important, but you know, it's more about watching the animal learn. And that's really what I want you to get out of it. So, okay.
So I start out by putting carpet on the floor, and as soon as Sushi approaches the carpet,
tosses the treat.
I click and reward. After this first click and reward is actually when Sushi will take more time to figure out what it is that I'm trying to do. So she will be there, sort of not really sure what she's supposed to do. And I'm not going to provide any feedback, just waiting for any behavior that will bring her closer to that little piece of carpet.
So I would have clicked a little sooner than him.
Out the carpet again, and I give her a click and another reward. This time she's a little bit lost with where the food treat is, so I actually go over there and help her out. And then I'm waiting for her to go back to the square.
So Rachel, I think it's because it's hooked up to your mic that I think the volume's going through your mic.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Be careful your ears, guys, because I think it's just gonna unplug. I think maybe if you unplug your mic just for this, it might pop. It might be a little bit louder. Sorry. Okay. Oh, you got muted somehow. Oh, so because your microphone, so what it's doing is it's muting your computer because your microphone's not connected. Wah, wah. Nope. Let me try removing you and putting you back in. Hang on. Nope. Oh boy. All right, hang on 1 second. Let's get this straightened
There,
out.
I'm good now.
Oh, there you are. All right.
Yes,
I will get out of here again. Sorry, guys. Thanks
So let
for
me
your
do
patience.
this. Yes, thank you guys.
Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, I think keep talking a little bit and let's see how this sounds.
All right. I hope you guys are enjoying the lecture. I hope you guys were able to hear more of that. I apologize. And then I also can't see the stuff that's popping up. So volume still good?
Yeah, I think you're pretty good. You could talk a little bit louder on maybe on your own, but that is that's going to be better, and we can't wait to hear your videos. Thanks for being so patient, Rachel.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh, you're not thanking me. That's fine. You don't have to. And I'm happy with
you.
Oh God. Okay. All right, guys. So let me go back into my lecture here. Okay. So we'll watch this gentleman again. Oh, geez, Louise. Rachel. Okay. Current slide. Let's do this. Okay. So there we go. I'm playing it.
Don't forget to share your screen.
Oh, geez. I am sharing. It says stop sharing. Good. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Ooh, you know what? Hold on, Becky. I just realized, I think I found something else. Share screen. Share audio. That was not clicked. Share. Got it. Okay, what is this? Why is this coming up twice? All right. Let me try. From current slide. All right, guys. I'm going for it.
With an easy verb to get her to go to or to station at a little square made out of carpet.
Sushi approaches on the floor, and as soon as Sushi approaches the carpet, I click and reward. After this first click and reward is actually when Sushi will take more time to figure out what it is that I'm trying to do. So she will be there, sort of not really sure what she's supposed to do, and I'm not going to provide any feedback. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for any behavior that will bring her closer.
So there are a few times I would have clicked there personally, but
she finally goes and checks out the carpet again, and I give her a click and another reward. This time she's a little bit lost with where the food treat is, so I actually go over there and help her out. And then I'm waiting for her to go back to the square. Notice that I'm offering the food rewards away from the carpet. There's mainly two reasons for me to do that. One of the reasons is that I want to restart the behavior. I want her to have to actively look at the carpet and go back to it after each piece of food. And the other reason is that I use the clicker both as a signal to tell her that she did something well, and also as a signal that whatever she is doing is over and she doesn't have to stay in that position anymore.
So again, if you guys noticed, I was clicking a little quicker. My job, I have to keep with my patients a really, really high level of reinforcement, because most of the cats, dogs, whatever species I'm working with, is usually much more stressed as I work at a behavior only facility. So in order for them to be able to really understand the connection, I like to give them a lot of feedback. But also, I think it's really helpful for the learner if you can think about it and break it apart and offer even the teeny tiniest steps. I think that's really helpful for them, as I know it would be for me if somebody was trying to teach me the same way. I hope you guys were able to hear that a little better. Okay, so here is, again, my cat, and by no means am I suggesting that anybody should muzzle train their cat to a basket muzzle. Again, these were clients that had dogs, and typically with the challenges of telemedicine, I like to use my dog to demonstrate, but my dog wasn't home. So I used my cat to show some of how the clicker works and how they're going to use shaping. As again, it's helpful to see video to be able to see the demonstration of it being done. So this is just a short little clip, but again, just shows the behavior of where I offer the muzzle out. And again, what I'm doing in my goal behavior would be to have him come up and nose touch, or for him to put his nose inside the basket. And with him, it'd probably be his face, because it definitely would not fit. Oh, now why isn't that working? Time he comes over, okay, and he looks or interacts with it, so and I did this a little bit in my last appointment with him. My dog is usually my demo, but Ernie doesn't know how to do this, so it's actually better because you actually get to see the shaping process. So your goal is to give as many clicks and treat as you want to give a lot of clicks. Your clicks is your communication. So again, your clicks are your communication. Can I please correct myself that every time I watch that video, I get so annoyed. I'm like, Rachel, that is not appropriate grammar. Ugh. Anyways, so here is a second video, and shaping is a great way that you could teach your cats to do carrier training. So again, I think whether it's a kitten, adult cat, older cat, any animal can learn these things, and any age they can definitely work on these things. But for the carrier shaping, this is my cat just going in, and he's really not a huge fan of his carrier. Again, it's like, what is that thing that they say? The shoe makers' children never have good shoes, or something like that. I'm the same way. I love training, but I don't do it enough when I get home, because it's just, I do it all day long. But so this is a newer carrier I bought for him, which I actually really like. They're those cute little backpack ones. I think Taylor Swift had one for her cat on a video, and I thought it was adorable, and I bought one. I really like it. Anyways, and my cat likes it because it's a different type of presentation than a normal carrier, which again, even before I had rescued him, he had some probably not great experiences. So, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Here we go. So my goal is to get him to jump into the opening. I chose to give the treat there, so then that way he could kind of line himself up and go back there. But a big reason of why we toss the treats away is so they have to go back and reset. Like, they can go back and re-offer the behavior again. Good. So again, by no means do I get him to actually jump in. I think I do at some point. But again, the goal of this was just to give you guys, again, an example of what the process looks like. So again, I broke down from looking at the carrier to moving his neck towards it, to maybe putting his head inside. And then even after he put his head inside, he walked back away. He turned back and he looked at it a few times. And if you watched, I waited him out a little bit. I was waiting for him to see if he would do something more, and he didn't. So I just went, okay, no worries. I'm going to go back down on my criteria and make the game easier, because making it more challenging, he wasn't ready for that yet. he obviously wasn't close to offering the behavior at all. All right, so now I'm going to bring up. So lastly, I just figured this is a fun video to show. This is Bob. We work with the animals at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. And Bob, I believe, has diabetes, and he has something. We have to check his blood work regularly. And again, in order to do this, again, and make it to where he doesn't have to be sedated every few weeks to have his blood work checked, they really found it, and we found it really, helpful to train him up to be able to have a blood draw. So this was a whole little setup that one of the trainer or the keepers made. But again, this is just really cool. Bob's awesome, and the training team that is here is amazing. But you'll hear me coaching because I unfortunately was not allowed to be right near the bobcat, which is fine. I totally get it. But I do a lot of coaching, and that's a big part of my job. I know how to train. I need the owners, you guys, to understand how to do it so you guys can implement these things at home.
She's like, girl, it's your choice day.
There. So you can see Bob goes in, offers his leg into the chute. They click, and then they end the behavior.
Yeah, and they were able to do all of his vaccines, and they did his blood work and everything.
So he was awesome. He's really been a good cat. It's funny, his sister, so there's Bob and I can't remember the other bobcat's name, but she started to do this, and it was super awesome to watch because she just started to run in and offer her foot in there too. She watched him so many times, and she's like, I could do this too. It was super adorable. And again, they're both older cats, so it was really cool to see. So anyways, I'm a Jaws fan. So I thought this was adorable, was the cat in the little shark thing yawning. I thought that was great. I love orange cats. And again, I love teaching cats to be able to do other things. So this could also be an alternate behavior you could use to teach them to do things. So I'm going to open the floor for questions, which I'm sure you guys may have some. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to put my headset back on. So hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. And I think
I'm going to jump in here with you.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry. I think that was a little longer than it was supposed to be. Please don't take me.
You're fine. You're fine. We're rogue when we're on here.
I get so excited to talk about things that I just can't stop talking about it.
These guys are well trained with my rambling. I guarantee you they're loving it. I know they're loving it. So let's go through here. So some great questions. So what about your picky treats? What if they're not food motivated? Tell me a little bit about what you like to do for positive reinforcement if it's not about food for them.
Yes, you can absolutely still train them. And if again, your cat has a really amazing type of toy that they enjoy to interact with. You can use you can use a toy, you can use laser pointers, you can use a variety of different things. It's finding something that they like. Also, I would encourage you, not that I'm saying cat treats aren't all that amazing, but you can use things again in moderation. So sometimes I will get little Tyson chicken strips, I think they're the frozen ones. I'll make them, and I just really make them into small little slivers, literally that's barely anything. And I'll use that as a reinforcer sometimes for cats. Tuna, I will use some different types of things like that instead of an actual cat treat. But again, food is a big thing, but also play is another one. And again, what I usually say is they get 3 seconds of play, and then you go ahead, you take the toy away, maybe hide it behind your back and wait for them to offer the next behavior. You'd then click, bring the toy back out.
I love it. And that's the thing too, for when I'm working with folks and they say my cat is not really food motivated, I'm like, or are they not treat motivated for what you've offered them? And when I love to explain to people that the bigger the ask, the bigger the paycheck, same thing I would be telling them, right? If you want me to clean out houses, you're going to pay me.
Well, right. Or one thing I always say is, I live in Ohio, so Cedar Point has always been a really fun place for us to go as kids. And, my dad had a work picnic there every year. And we'd have to sit in the wagon, wait for him to get stuff done. My mom would be like, oh, here's some veggies. I'm like, no, I want to go. Like, I want to go on the rides. But so again, vegetables or something like that in that situation doesn't do anything for me. It's not reinforcing. But if you were to give me like a cookie, or, at that point, probably McDonald's, like a cheeseburger Happy Meal, I would have been ecstatic.
Yep. Yeah. In our house, we lean into a little bit of whipped cream. I've used squeezed cheese in a can, which is probably the only thing cheese in a can should ever be used for. Maybe
I
ever in
agree.
moderation.
I agree. Yes.
And we have a mutual friend, Monique, Fairchild. Monique says cats like olives. True or false?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
She says green olives.
Loves, and I guess you'd want to make sure there's no xylitol or anything like that in it, but peanut butter. Like my cat, I thought it was hilarious yesterday. My dog was home for a little bit, and there's these Bill Jack treats that are called like Gooberlicious or something. I bought them, they were on sale. And they're peanut butter flavored. And so I gave one to my dog, and I just was like, you know what? He likes peanut butter. I tossed one to the cat, and he like inhaled that thing. I was like, unbelievable.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, and we all know the magic of churu, right? So if worse comes to worse, just bust out those churu.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Those are, yes. We have so many patients that love them. My cat loves it too.
Yeah. But whatever your cat loves, right? Like the idea is whatever they're going to enjoy, that's a positive reinforcement. But along those same lines, let's talk about our kitties who are counting calories, because positive reinforcement can be calorie heavy. So what do we do here?
So and again, this is also probably something, I'm not super close with Kara like you are, but Kara Burns, who's a veterinary technician specialist in nutrition, I know I've done a lot of seminars and things like that with her because I love nutrition as well. I would probably do a calorie study. So I would go through, I'd break things down and figure out, okay, this is what my cat needs to total calorie wise of what my cat needs. And if your cat is food motivated, use their diet. That is not a problem. Like if your cat is one of those cats that inhales their food, that's great. You could use canned food. So again, if you watched, I think in that video that one of the first videos with the guy, I think he put food inside of like the cat, like a cat bowl. Even if you had or you're like, okay, I'm going to train and it's time for their canned diet. You're going to go ahead. Maybe you wait for a behavior, you click, they get 1, 2, 3 little licks. You pick up the bowl, wait for them to offer behavior, click, 1, 2, 3 licks, take it away. But that's another way I would definitely do that. Or else again, and I would say absolutely you want to consult with your veterinarian. So then that way they can give you the right instructions on how to maybe cut a little bit out so you can maybe use some different stuff as reinforcers.
Yeah, great idea. I also love to tell my clients that if they aren't looking for more of whatever you just gave them, it's not high enough value.
Right.
So if you give that treat and they are happy to move on with life, you may not be in a trainable value for that treat. So just a heads up on that. Okay, let's talk about aggression. Click to calm.
So with being aggressive, how do I identify okay, so say your cat is showing aggression, and this is, I could dive into this. I could probably talk to this person for hours about things I would do. But, again, it's kind of finding what the trigger is first. And then I would almost break apart the trigger before aggression happens. So again, with that, you're using forms of, again, fancy terminology like desensitization and, adding in then some reinforcement. But you are right. You don't want the click, or you don't want to reinforce negative behavior. I think that's what you're saying. Because my thing is that the click, if you're always associating with food, is not going to be associated with aggression. But if, say, for example, your cat swats at you and you walk by and you clicked your cat and they swatted, that's what you're trying to avoid. So again, I would be clicking before the behavior happens. So if you know where your cat normally sits and you walk by and they kind of swat or they jump up and bite your toes or something, your goal is to click before they do it. or like click. And maybe even in that situation, using a play toy might even be better, because then you can be like, hey, click, because usually that's a play aggression thing. So that might be even better for them to do, because then they might be like, oh, great. They walk by, we get to play. This is fantastic. But again, you're reinforcing the behavior of them not going at your legs. Does that
beautiful? Yep. Nope. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard not to go on for like 10 hours about all of
I
it, isn't it? 'Cause I'm with you. I'm like, okay, so here's what you could do. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're not here to solve individual. But Rachel, we will put your stuff up at the end to make sure you guys know how to reach out to her if you want to get with her. Hey, where do we borrow a clicker?
Oh gosh, you can go to Amazon. They have tons. I mean, I think you can get a whole pack for like $5. And they have the little iClicks. Those are really nice. But KarenPryor.com sells clickers. Again, there's also, like, if you were interested, KarenPryor.com, they have clicker training for cats, which is a whole breakdown on how to clicker train. There's also another really good read, The Trainable Cat by John Bradshaw and Sarah Ellis. This I really like for clients because it breaks down how you can train, how cats learn. It's a really good book. And then lastly, I think there's some clicker training stuff in it. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to read through it all. But Decoding the Cat is another book that just came out by the veterinary behaviorists. So it goes through everything cat. Like, I think you guys will love this. And it's actually written by people who I would 125% be saying, yes, you need to listen to their recommendations, because they're all the veterinary behaviorists in the college. So again, they're the veterinarians that are specialized in animal behavior.
Smart. Okay. Clicker training for car rides. Again, kind of that quick to calm.
Mm-hmm. So again, that's another way you'd want to break things down. I would personally start with getting them acclimated to their carrier. That's going to come first before you even get them into the car. And then, I mean, we could break down. So another thing I'll suggest is to use your phones and to maybe go in the car by yourself. You turn the keys on and you record that sound. And then, you get it a few different times. You could go in the house and then maybe you turn on the sound of the car engine starting. And as they hear that sound, you'd click, stop, give them a treat. So that way it starts to go, oh, that's not happened, food happens. Then we can try and give them other things to do during the car ride. But I really would start to create a really good positive association with the carrier first, because that's really where you need it.
Yeah, and such a good point, right? Like that we have to actually create a positive association with the click before we're trying to train, right? So you're not going to be able to just like stuff them in their carrier and click and let them know that it's an okay thing. So if you can go to something that they know to, most of the time we go with dogs, like we go with sit. But how do you suggest sort of initiating that click and positive? Are you just clicking and throwing treats, or how do you kick that off?
Yeah, no. So I do a lot of clicking and then just treating. There was a study that came out a few years ago that said most animals, if you were to read some of these books, they're going to tell you to charge the clicker. And I think Jackson Galaxy probably talked about it a little bit in the video earlier. I don't normally do that because they usually catch on really quick. They figure out sound food. Animals are smarter than what we give them credit for, I think, sometimes. And most of the time, again, if you don't even charge it and you just start training, they will get it. I assure you they will understand it. So usually I don't recommend clients charge the clicker. I just say get started with training.
Yeah. Here's one. I want to cut you off in the middle of your sentence. I was about to be so rude. No, I was about to be so rude because this one's smart. How do we use this for grooming?
Yes. Awesome. So this is where, again, you break things down a little bit more. And I love this question, Karen, because this would be one thing I would love to train up for every cat. So what I would start to do is, like, say, for example, you're doing a cat nail trim. I would probably, if I was going to do this, teach a down behavior, kind of think of the tiger in the beginning, down. Then from there, I might say, okay, now I'm going to teach them to lie down. Now I'm going to add in touching their paw. But instead of just touching their paw, I'm going to start touching the top of their shoulder. I'm going to touch their elbow. I might touch behind their back. I'm going to touch a lot of other places that they're not super uncomfortable with. and get them used to, okay, I laying down and then they touch me. Okay. And then we start touching the paws. Then you might press down on the paw pad to expose the nail. Then you're going to bring your clipper over, clip, click, and treat. But again, every time you're touching, you're clicking, removing your hand, and treating.
I love it. That's exactly right. That's a brilliant question, Karen. That was smart, because that's exactly right. We can use these for everything. So they were asking about clickers, where to get them. This is the more Karen prior. I literally have these on my desk. Can I tell you a story about that? Having this type of wrist attachment is always great because it helps you free up your hands to deal with stuff. There are even ones with sorry guys, even ones with a band that will go on your finger.
Oh.
I did not mean to make an unkind gesture there. But the ring ones are nice because, again, it stays in your hand and you can click and manipulate with treats. We've got these kinds as well. I don't use these with cats. I don't know, Rachel, what do you think? These are the metal, and they're pretty loud and scary.
They're a little louder, yes. I like the iClicks more anyways, because the nice part is and I don't have one. Again, I use my tongue constantly. But like if I were to use I would use the iClick because you can move it around, and instead of just using your thumb, maybe you hold it and you can use your pinky finger to click it. Like there's a lot of different ways you can hold it. I personally like that one more. And again, if you have arthritis or any other type of concerns with your hands, it doesn't take a lot of force to click it down, which is another nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because if you do this enough, your hand gets tired.
Right.
These are great questions, you guys. I think honestly, okay. So Rachel, where do we find you? Where can we come talk to you? Where do we get more info?
You guys can always, I personally, you can use my email address, rachelmlees@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer any questions I can for you guys. I will be better about, I just have been the worst about keeping up on my social media. I have a professional kind of page. So again, you can probably, I think that's Rachel Lees, RVT, KPA CTP, VTS behavior. I mean, I don't mean to say like, it's just a lot of letters at the end of my name, which is, I worked hard for that, but still, that's on my, that's for the professional page for my Facebook.
Okay, so wait, back it up. RVT,
KPA, CTP, VTS behavior.
Let's look at it. Is that right?
Yeah, you'll be able to find it with that. I know. Sorry, guys.
Hey, Rachel Lee's Alphabet Soup behavior. Hey, here's the thing that you did work really hard to earn those, and you absolutely should be proud. You absolutely should show them. It is no easy feat, you guys. There are a lot of people out there who will call themselves quote unquote animal behaviorists. Please, please, please do your homework onto what makes them a behaviorist, and if it is more self-proclaimed or if it is with credentials behind it. Ms. Rachel has worked very, very hard to earn those letters. And if there are not letters behind the name of the person that you are taking advice from, it's just a worthwhile ask. We know the amazing Steve Dale. He is a certified, behavior coach. Right. And so
certified.
Even without being a doctor, even without being a vet tech, he has education. But there are a lot of people out there on Instagram, on TikTok, on all of these channels that are giving out cat advice. So we have to go back and clean up. So that's my soapbox for today, guys. Sorry about that. But the truth of the matter is be really careful about where you're getting your information. People like Rachel are doing the hard work. They're doing the studies. They're doing the science. And they are literally improving the human-animal bond. They're making sure our cats live longer, healthier, happy lives. And that we have better communication with them. So back them up. Make sure you're reaching out to educated sources. Rachel, you're amazing. Your time is so valuable. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for allowing me to come on. And I'm sorry I went over. I just couldn't help it. I just kept
talking. I took 0. No one's leaving. Numbers are great. They want more. There'll be more of you. And, I'm going to go ahead and drop a hint. We're looking at cat yoga with you.
Yes. Because I'm also a yoga instructor. I'm also a yoga
she didn't have enough genius education, brilliance. She said, let's go for yoga because you know what? Honestly, quality of life, right? Miss
Right.
Rachel, thanks so much for being
You're
here.
welcome. And guys, and I am thinking about it. Maybe I will make an Instagram. So find me on Facebook and then I can always make an Instagram, or again, I'll make it with my first and last name. So definitely just look there. Okay.
Hey, let us know when you do that. We'll share that info
Perfect.
and we'll make sure everybody knows where to find you.
Because that'll be easier. All right, guys. It was so fun. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. We'll have you back, Rachel.
All right. See you later.
Bye.